This is Contractor Sense with Ruth King.
Welcome to Contractor Sense. Here you discover ideas, tactics, news, and information that matters to your contracting business and you. I'm your host, Ruth King. This episode is sponsored by Profitability Movement. Go to profitability-movement.mn.co to discover how this tool can help you increase your profitability and build wealth. Thank you for joining us. Here is how we will help your business today. I'm going to start by telling you a really frustrating story that happened. That is my story. And then we're going to go into different ways that you may want to increase your revenues and your profits this spring. So here's my story. We've had a rug that's been in our household and our family for about 50 years. And I needed to get it cleaned. And I'd had this rug cleaned, many, many years ago. And I didn't remember the name of the company who cleaned the rug, but they did a phenomenal job on this rug. And so I had to literally do a Google search, rug cleaners in my area. And a whole bunch of rug cleaners came up, and I thought I recognized the name. So I went to their website, and the only way I knew that it was the right company is I had given them a Google review many, many years ago. It was a really good Google review. And yes, it was still there. So I knew it was the right company. And I started thinking about it because, what would have happened, if the guy had just given me a business card? I mean, it's as simple as giving me a business card. I would have kept it, obviously, because I was really happy with the work they did. And the rug turned out beautifully and it was clean. And business card would have been helpful, really, really helpful. And then, so business card being number one. But what if he had sent me and started communicating with me, every 6 months? I don't think he'd have to communicate every month. But if he sent me some communications, once a year, twice a year, things that could be helpful to keep my rug clean or whatever else it is, things that can help me just remember who he is so that I don't go through a frustrating Google search and wasting my time to find the company's phone number. So I have 3 questions for you as a result of that. Number 1, when was the last time you communicated with your customers when you didn't want something, i.e. it wasn't time for maintenance? Okay. But your maintenance customers, at least you have familiarity with them because you contact them once a year for plumbing, twice a year for HVAC, something like that. So there is some contact at least every single year. But let's assume that they're not a maintenance customer. When was the last time you talked to somebody who used your company just for service or for a project? Spent thousands of dollars with you. Okay. Number 1. Number 2, suppose, like me, a former customer really liked your work. How easy would it be for her to find your services again if they needed you? And number 3, if this person did a Google search, how many of your competitors would she find that she could, quote unquote, try this time? So the moral of my story is that you have to communicate with your customers. You really might think this is an expense, but think about it from the other perspective. Think about it from a perspective of, okay, by communicating with my customers, we keep them, quote unquote, in the fold. We can potentially offer them things that will help them be more comfortable in their homes and their offices. And if we talk to them when we don't want something, they're likely to remember it, especially if it's short and helpful. I mean, people are always looking for things that will help them. And as long as it's not a, 22-page email, communication, you'll be fine. Short and sweet and to the point is kind of cool. So think about doing that. It might be emails, it might be postcards. I don't suggest letters for customers who haven't used you in a while because they won't remember who you are. And unless you do it in a very bright yellow or pink envelope or something like that, they're not likely to open the envelope because they don't recognize the name. So customer communication is absolutely critical. There was a study done years ago by, and I don't even remember who, that said that 65% of your customers leave because they don't think that you went out of business, or they don't think you care, and they don't call you or talk to you or communicate with you at some point in time so that you can remember them and they can say thank you for being one of our customers, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So part one is talk to them. All right. So if you haven't talked to them in a while, we're going to talk about reactivating them and how you do that too. So when we get back from break, we're going to talk about reactivating your inactive customers. We'll be right back. Thanks for listening to Contractor Sense.
Eliminate costly warranty leak repair headaches. 3 years ago, Ruth King wrote a leak policy letter for one of her clients who was dealing with huge warranty leak issues. When she gave the letter to technicians and trained them on how to use it, warranty leaks went from zero, that's right, zero. Then, she gave the letter to one of her other clients and any contractor who wanted it. The results? The same, zero warranty leak repairs. The unexpected benefits? An increase in replacement sales. Ruth shares the letter with anyone and everyone who wants it. So get your sample leak policy letter for free. No strings, no catches, no guaranteed results. Go to hvacchannel.tv or call us at 877-520-4321. Click on the link in the middle of the homepage to get your free leak policy letter. I hope you experience zero warranty leak repairs and eliminate a major costly headache.
We're back. Thanks for listening to Contractor Sense. Hopefully before the break, you got the light bulb going off and saying, okay, we have to talk to our customers. It doesn't have to be onerous. It doesn't have to take hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. Get one of your kids who's really good with computers and who can do something on MailChimp or who can do something on Constant Contact. It's very quick, it's very easy, and you don't have to think about it. And guess what? It's automatic. All right. So that's step one. Step two is actually looking at it from a perspective of reactivating your inactive customers. And I define an inactive customer as a customer who's used you in the past, within the past 5 years. And I'll explain why I don't go longer than 5 years in most cases. But they haven't used you in the past 18 months. So 19 months to 5 years, or maybe 19 months to 3 years, depending upon what we're talking to them about. The reason that I don't go past 5 years is that I find communications drop off significantly, results drop off significantly over 5 years, unless it's a piece of equipment that you've installed or something huge, all right? If they've just done service work, the likelihood is they've gone somewhere else after 5 years, or they've moved, or they've, passed away, or, something happened after 5 years. In the city of Atlanta, most people move every 5 to 7 years. So, done. You're absolutely done from that perspective. So we're going to look at that customer database and look at how many customers are there, how many inactive customers you have that are 19 months to 5 years. And, if it's huge numbers, if it's thousands and thousands, make it 19 months to 3 years. There's plenty of work just with those 3 years. All right. So the thing is to find out why they haven't used you. All right. And there's two ways to do this too. It depends upon, what you did. So for example, if it was service calls that, let's say if it was under $500 that they spent with you, you may want to do it through a postcard that says, have we slipped up? We want you back. Something along those lines that's cute, that's memorable, with an offer for them to come back. If they spent over $5,000 with you, my gut is to say, all right, they're somebody who needs a phone call. Yes, pick up the phone. And I know for some of you, that's like, oh my God, I don't want to pick up the phone. But the reality is somebody spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars with you and you haven't heard from them in 3 years, I think it's time to make a phone call. All right. Do it in a humorous way. I'm not asking you to be dumb and boring and drone-like and stuff like that. But, you as an owner really should make these phone calls. They should not come from a customer service rep. Coming from you means that the customer is important, number one. The customer is likely to pay attention and talk to you because it isn't some customer service rep. You as an owner took the time to find out why they haven't been, talked to you in 19 months, 3 years, or whatever else it is. All right. So again, do it in a humorous way. So here's what I'd suggest. Mrs. Customer, I'm Ruth King, the CEO of ABC Plumbing and Heating. I probably don't want to know the answers to this question, but I need to know the answer to this question. usually that gets a laugh, or usually it will put them at ease. One of the two things. They know that this is not going to be a serious phone call. It is serious, but it's being done in a humorous way. It's being done in a light way, and it will calm them down totally. So, Mrs. Jones, I'm Ruth King. I'm CEO of ABC Plumbing and Heating. I probably don't want to know the answers to this question, but I need to know the answer to this question. So they say, okay, I noticed that we haven't done business with you in the past 18 months or the past 2 years. Did we screw up? And just be quiet. It may be 20 seconds of silence, but the customer needs to speak first. And I promise you 20 seconds of silence. If I did that right now and put my stopwatch on, you all would get really, really, really uncomfortable. Try doing that. I once had a situation, which I'll explain in a little bit later, about being quiet. But the reality is you need to let the customer speak first. The system is working just fine. We just haven't had a need. And just see what they say. See what the customer says is the answer. Then the question is, how do we get you back? We'd love to have you earn your business again. How do we do that? Again, be quiet. Let the customer answer. And they'll tell you. A lot of times what you're going to find is the customer says, well, we didn't hear from you for so long that we thought you went out of business. All right. That is a very, very, unfortunately, very typical response. So reactivating your customer base is probably the quickest, the easiest way to generate revenues in slower times in the year. And for some of you, it's still slow. Spring hasn't picked up. Summer isn't here yet. But for some of you, it's still important to reactivate your inactive customers because you want your customers back. They've already spent money with you, so there is some level of trust. Keep it going. And that's really the key to making sure that you stay busy and stay profitable and stay productive. Now, I promised you that I would tell you about being silent. So there was a situation one time where I needed something and I needed the answer to be yes. And so I asked the question and was quiet. And for whatever reason, I watched my watch, and it was 32 seconds later before the other person spoke. Did it get very uncomfortable? Absolutely. But did I speak first? No. I got what I wanted. So practice being quiet for 32 seconds. It's really, really, really uncomfortable. But the reason you've got to do it is that your customer who has spent money with you has to speak first. Okay? You need to find out what's on their mind. Now, they might speak instantly. Oh, gosh, I just thought you guys went out of business. I'm glad to hear that you're still in business. And you may at that particular point say, terrific, what can we do to earn your business back again? And again, be quiet. And then you're going to be in a situation where you're going to want to get her email address if you don't have it. If there is something that you're offering through the postcards that you're sending, you can offer that to her too and send it to her in the mail. Whatever she says, start the conversation and really and truly get the customer back, have them become an active customer, and you will enroll more maintenance agreements. You'll have a stronger customer base. You'll generate more revenue. And if your pricing is right, you'll generate more profit too. So, moral of the story, communicate with your customers. Don't have the rug situation that happened to me, number one. And number two, go through your customer list and figure out how many customers you haven't done business with in the past 19 months to 5 years. Either call them, send them a postcard, or other way communicate with them that you want them back. Did we screw up? Put a picture of a guy stepping on a banana peel, or something, humorous. If you don't like that, just put a funny character in there and say, did we screw up? If you want to do it by postcards. But anybody who's spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars with you deserves a phone call. Find out what's going on with them, and you'll be surprised. Number one, you'll get most of them back in the fold. You'll probably get referrals from most of them, and it will help continually generate revenue and profits for you build loyalty with your customer base. And if you can get them on the maintenance program, that's even better. So that's what I would do. So thank you for joining us. Choose one thing that you discovered and implement it in your business. These ideas, tactics, and strategies help you make more money, have more free time, and give back. If you like today's program, spread the word. Please review this podcast on any device you're listening to it on. Help a fellow contractor make more money too. For comments or questions, call me at 770-729-0258 or email Ruth King at hvacchannel.tv. Thanks for listening. Have a great and profitable day.